This message finds you when you're about to catch a really, really big break. Big break? You're about to catch a really big break. And if you think about that, it's something that happens in your world and it essentially alters your long term trajectory. And I'm hearing it's not just a short term thing, this is like a long term thing. And I'm also seeing like a long wave that you're about to be riding, and you're an expert surfer. Timeline surfing is a term that's also coming up, okay? Quantum surfer is also coming up. So energetically, it feels like you're going to ride this new wave, especially of visibility, especially around how you are showing up, because you've shown up as the star card. So I'm going to go ahead and decode you right now. And we're going to do a message around how not only are you being perceived, but something that you're creating in this realm is being received. This even could be your energy and how it creates a different and atmosphere in any kind of environment you enter into. But yeah, you're definitely entering into some type of new room. This could be network or roles that you're going to be playing or opening up to. It requires a version of you that's slightly braver, maybe even clearer and more visible. That's what it feels like we're going to be also embodying during this time. It's not just good news, it's literally a life upgrade that happens because of the way you upgrade or update or expand the frameworks and how others view reality and also relate to their journey on earth, especially emotionally. You are an inspiration, right? Let's go ahead and read it. So, the star card. This is you, right? The star card and the veil. Opportunity, hope, inspiration, and reassurance. The star bursts through the veil and offers a moment of reassurance. This is a card of hope. Be inspired and feel the good that surrounds you. Feel this light inside of you, and it will continue to repel the darkness. You might not know it, but you're an inspiration to many. If this card shows up, take it as an opportunity to celebrate your achievements, big or small. And this is about to be a big achievement in which you're going to be celebrating. So I would say celebrate even before its arrival, to be honest with you, because when the star card appears as a person, it's somebody that can emotionally kind of again change the energetic climate of an environment. I always want to say in a room simply by just existing. This is someone that is not loud and they're not forceful, but they're definitely unmistakable, and you really can't miss them energetically because their energy announces them before they announce themselves with words. Your silence speaks for you, your energy also speaks for you. And louder than your words ever could. This is hope that comes through human form. Imagine the essence of hope and almost optimism, especially after a darkest hour. You could be someone that kind of shines their light on another soul's darkest hour. I'm hearing, especially when they're going through a dark night of the soul. This is a celestial light body, oftentimes, that inspires those in its orbit. All right, that's the message with you. So they've usually, and this is you, because this comes in after a tower moment. The only reason you're showing up as a star is because you've learned how to follow your own eternal light that has guided your path through your own darkest hour. And the thing is, Spirit has put you, and you had agreed on a high level to go through some of the things that you've gone through just so that you could learn to hold space for yourself in the same way where you're also going to be holding space for those who are going through, especially eighth house themes. This could be like death, it could be loss, sudden pivots, shadow work that you're moving through, and really deep trauma as well. So you could be a huge part of someone's integration journey, okay, or a soul's integration journey. But yeah, you've been through darkness, you've been through loss or disillusionment in some regards, and you've lost faith at some point, but then you've also found it again. That's a huge essence of the star card energy. And you've learned how to stay open without becoming hardened. You haven't become hardened by your circumstances. That's a huge one. Okay, that's a huge one because it's someone that has that huge heart space. They have a lot of compassion, and because of that, they are an inspiration for how they've stayed soft despite their circumstances. That's exactly what it feels like is going on. And your softness and compassion is a huge strength for you. It's not a weakness, although it could have been seen as one in your past. People could also say towards you that you are extremely calm, you're extremely restorative, and they could feel lighter after speaking to you when we talk about the star card. You could also say, like, you remind me of how I used to be, right? Before, the world told me otherwise, or before I became a product of my environment. And I want to come back to that, okay? I want to come back to who I was before this event had transpired. And you've given me hope without even trying to. That could also be another thing that people want to say to you. So let's get a one card to see what people would say. But yeah, you don't convince. It's something that you just transmit through your energy, especially in regards to just how gracefully you've moved through the most tumultuous, you know, scenes of your life. That's what it feels like. I'm seeing it as scenes in a movie. We have the Three of Embers. So the Three of Embers is actually a card to do with psychic powers and feeling very drawn towards something, even if no one else around you understands. It's somebody dancing to this music that no one else can hear, so they appear insane to everyone else in the room. And there is just something around what people would say to you is, you make me want to dance to that music. You make me want to answer that calling, even if no one else hears that call, because it wasn't a conference call, it was a calling for me only, and I'm beginning to honor that, and I'm beginning to not take that personally. So yeah, you kind of reignite that belief. That's what people would say to you with this essence, especially around 10 of trees. This is a lot to do with legacy, which is you being put, and when we talk about big break, it's not that you're even just being put into a position because you want to be known. I don't even sense that from you really at all. Your success is not even in the things in which you have achieved and you're going to continue achieving and surmounting in the physical milestones that you're accomplishing, but it's in who you've become. Like, that's a huge part of your success, and the people that you inspire by the version of self you've been able to embody despite your circumstances, right? There's always been a part of you that's untouched by time and unaffected by the events that have transpired, and you've been able to extract that wisdom and that knowledge, and you've aged like fine wine when it comes to your space-time continuum travels as well. That's a huge essence that I'm getting there. So yeah, you could kind of remind others that without healing is possible. Even again, I definitely sense in your energy, give deep those hardships permission and to pain soften, could be transmuted into power, just to breathe. And you are someone that definitely that's what it feels like as well, because I'm just feeling like too. So yeah, you help those around you start imagining just kind of better futures for themselves, despite what it is that their current circumstances could repress or suppress this anymore. You give them permission to realize and remember in doing that, in just holding a space, maybe even through the things that you don't say and the things that you don't do, that people are so used to being said to them or having done in their past, right, by those around them. You create this long lasting effect. Okay, again, that's what I mean. It's just like a healing environment or aura, especially because the person has a very calming frequency where they kind of slow things down. You could be really great at mediating, where you can very quickly de escalate a highly charged situation. That's also what I feel, where you can offer this a higher perspective without invalidating somebody's experience, right? As a result, those around you definitely just feel safe in your immediate presence, right? Especially emotionally and energetically. We're gonna see the impact that you have. I mean, we've spoken a lot about this, but when I talk about impact, I mean you're receiving visibility in this season because of the impact that you're here to have. A lot of your legacy in this lifetime is around the way that you touch those around you, okay? Like, you're meant to touch many. You're leaving this world a better place than you had arrived in it, okay? Yeah. You don't preach resilience, you embody resilience. Alright, the impact is the Five of Lotuses. I love this card because the Five of Lotuses is a paradigm shift. It talks about even though there's a shipwreck that had occurred, there is always it reminds me of the Water Witch song where it says basically it's a song about going into the void and returning back to your eternal essence that is not attached to the finite circumstances and allowing them to continue to haunt you to the present day and also dictate your future. This is where you change your resonance to the past experiences to finally free yourself. And this is definitely a shift of perspective, a shift of your emotional state that allows you to see the cup as half full. You could unveil the silver linings in certain stories, okay? And again, just offer a higher perspective. I feel like that's what you're definitely here to do, to shift the frameworks and how people relate to their past or resonate with their past, especially on a soul level. And that way it's no longer trauma. You bridge the gap between trauma and also the true self, which is the one that doesn't identify with that event. Okay, it's just something that has happened, but you again create this space so that people can finally give themselves permission to step into their power and no longer allow that event to dictate their trajectory in life. That's what it feels like. Because of that, you heal by example and not even necessarily the advice that you give. It's literally where your life says, I survived, but I didn't lose my heart in the process of it. This is something that will make those around you feel less alone in their pain as well, because there is this relatable aspect around, well, you've been through it and you've actually come out stronger on the other side. You've been able to grow through the things that you've also gone through. And because of that, people feel less ashamed in that sensitivity. They see that vulnerability is actually a strength and they become more trusting in their own recovery. One of the shadow sides that you could definitely deal with, again, as a multidimensional being, this is one of many different facets that you have, but this is the facet or archetype that you're kind of stepping into in this season. And because you shine so brightly, those around you could idealize you. So this is definitely an energy of I don't want to be put on a pedestal, and you may feel as if people do look up to you because again the star is something that's in the sky and it shines so brightly because of that contrast right within that darkest hour, and how you could be that monumental guiding light. And I'm seeing it as almost like music. So you know how music can kind of come in seasons of our life where maybe we've been listening to a very specific genre or a very specific artist that helped us during that pivotal transit or turning point. So when we hear that song, it's often linked to a very strong emotional charge and memory of the events that we were experiencing that moment in time. I'm seeing that as something that you do, like the space that you've created. You're going to be a huge point of reference where people are going to be able to look back at you and also realize that you're also having a human experience. Maybe at first they could expect you to just always be okay because you are so strong, but they haven't seen the resistance that you've had to move through in order to cultivate the strength that you've had. So it's someone that is kind of, I don't want to say it's not underestimated in any way, but they see the strength but not the how the product was created. That's what it feels like. So it can be heavy because of that. The star card person, right, you may have to learn to kind of cultivate these boundaries because people unconsciously would want to drink from this well endlessly. So this is where you really do have to create that, again, five of chalices. It's like someone can keep continuing to pour and fill these cups, especially with the three of wands. Like this is someone that's going to feel very guided and drawn towards you because you may feel like, well, they may feel like you're the only one that really understands or the only one that really sees them. And it's because when you see them, you see a part of yourself in them as well, okay? And they also see their own potential for what it is they could embody in you, because again, this realm is a mirror. Because of that, the deeper truth when it comes to the star person is that it's not just this naive optimism that you have, it is earned hope. Okay, you've been able to understand just how dark life can get in this third dimensional plane when we're talking about like the lower octaves of reality, and how fragile faith can be, and also how precious gentleness becomes after the pain, how gentle we are with ourselves, how compassionate we can be towards the self. And that's why your light feels real, and it's not something that's just like forced. It's something that you've been able to discover within yourself upon the darkest hour. And why is that? The star can't see its own light unless everything around them goes dark. You've been able to guide yourself, and because of that, you're naturally kind of a guide for those around you, whether you are aware of that or not. And this could be a small corner of the world. This may be people in your immediate environment. Some of you are stretching across the planet, I'm hearing, when it comes to your presence and the things that you're doing as well. So, Four of Embers at the base, you're here to create some type of soul family or soul tribe. You know, this is also a soul contracts card, but it's a homecoming. Again, you create this safe haven. You can see the fire, the water, the different elements in the middle of the forest. And the forest in the metaphysical realm, right, the astral realm, it actually talks about the soul's exploration and initiation. It's usually where souls are kind of navigating this existence and they're seeking this sense of direction. And you just happen to have this beautiful cottage in the middle of the forest where you are welcoming those in without even realizing it, because the house in the metaphysical realm also talks about the house being the soul in the self. So this is the vessel that enriches your soul, and your soul speaks through the physical. It speaks beyond the physical. So this is beautiful, and you are absolutely beautiful as well. So right, should we get anything else, or should we just keep this one shorter and sweet? Maybe let's get some advice for you, okay? Because we're gonna hold space for you in this place, and let's get some advice. Other than boundaries, what's the advice in regards to how to navigate this big break, right? How can a star person navigate this big break? Oh, my goodness. Right, the first one we have is 10 of birds. Let me go and retrieve the rest of these that fell. And you also have calm and sacrifice. Wow. So your biggest piece of advice in regards to how to navigate this is there is some type of psychological reset in which you're being called to really embrace around how deeply you wish to entangle. And I'm hearing personally intertwine with this system. And the reason I say that is to distinguish what's yours and also what's not yours to take on. Get clear in, first of all, your boundaries and how much you can help someone. That's also what I'm seeing. This almost feels like help from a distance when we talk about justice. Let me go ahead and read this depiction. This is a really interesting piece of advice, because justice is about somebody weighing out the pros and cons of a situation and then coming to this conclusion through utilizing discernment's lens, where you really have to be able to discern what plane of consciousness an individual's operating on and facilitate them with what it is that's needed at that stage of their evolution, because someone may not be on the same side, especially if they're going through like heartbreak or pain. There could be something around you're not interrupting the soul's process of being able to discover that strength within them and not just rely on you or anyone around them for that source of strength. They can become their own source of that, and that's going to happen more through embodiment. You know, it's less about the things that you even do and the things that you say, but sometimes it's about the things that you don't say and what they pick up on in your immediate presence. That's almost what I'm seeing. It's like a less is more kind of energy. Let's go and read the justice. So justice talks about the ultimate truth, cause and effect, balance, accountability, and ultimate truth. The swift sword of justice and the balancing of karma creates an unmistakable connection to cause and effect. If this card shows up, Know that all actions have consequences. Karma may not tip the scales today, but in time, the universe will restore balance. So there is something about not feeling like you have to be the savior for everyone, because everyone is responsible and everybody has, okay, exactly what it is within them when it comes to tools, gifts, and abilities that they can also tap into in order to save themselves, in order to uplift themselves. And the star doesn't come down from the sky and meet people where they are and tries to intervene with their life in any way. Instead, it shines through example. It is its own leader, and in that, it mirrors that back to this in fractal of infinite potential that could be dormant of its own infinite potential, that slowly begins to awaken it until it realizes it can also lead itself. It just has to give itself permission to shine despite its circumstances. So that's your biggest piece of advice there. And with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you right there. If you're already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. Also check out Otter Spirit if you're looking for some high quality AAA grade jewelry. We have the Heart Chakra collection on today. Alright, absolutely beautiful. And yeah, $1 of the proceeds are also donated towards otter sanctuaries. Also, if you've made it up into this point, let me know in the comment section down below what part of this message hit you the most. Like, what part of the message was it that resonated on a really, really deep level for you? Was it just the majority throughout, or was there a certain section where, you had a particular context for your life or point of reference around that's exactly what it is that I've been experiencing? I'm curious.
Clouds in the sky, don't care if I stay all day. Dreaming of time when you and I would